Good morning, this is Greg the Window Doctor, and today we're going to continue our discussion of doors. Last time we talked about the three different options you had of wood doors, fiberglass doors, and steel doors. We talked about the advantages of fiberglass being that, of course, if it's in an area where it gets a lot of water, it could be a door that would be a great choice because you're not going to have to worry about what? Rusting. We talked about some of the disadvantages, some of the steel doors that are on the marketplace. And one of the things that was the biggest was what? Was the fact that it uses a 24 gauge steel. And that 24 gauge steel, as you remember when we talked about it, that it was a very thin steel. And as a 24 gauge steel, there's a lot of bend to it. Whereas a 20 gauge steel is much thicker and it's going to be much more substantial. Another way that they're going to make the doors less expensive, not only on the steel, they'll only rust proof them on the outside surfaces, not on the inside surfaces. So if you had a door that's made out of steel and it's only galvanized on the outside surfaces and you're using wood around the outside edges, what do we know about wood? Well, wood is porous, and wood is going to allow moisture to be absorbed. If that moisture gets inside that door, most steel doors do what? They rust from the inside out. And by the time you're seeing the rust on the outside, that door is history. So it's not going to be a door that's going to last a lifetime. So the better steel doors are going to be dipped in a galvanizing solution so that all four surfaces, the outside and inside surfaces, are going to be galvanized. And instead of using wood around the outside edges, they're going to use steel around the outside edges. Instead of using styrofoam on the inside, which is an insulator, but styrofoam's an open cell construction, and sometimes it can what? It can also break down. Polyurethane foam, though, on the other hand, is going to conform itself to each side, and it's going to last a lifetime. This has an R factor around R15. So to kind of give you an idea, if you had 2x4 studs in your house, the R factor, if you had rolled insulation, is about an R12. So this actually has more insulating value in the door than the walls of your house. And again, why do we get doors? Well, one is for enhanced beauty. Everybody that comes in your house, the first thing they're going to come through is what? Is that entry door. And it's going to be the last thing they see on the way out. So you want to give a good first impression, make a beautiful looking door. And that door, to give that enhanced beauty, needs to be as maintenance free because nobody wants to be married to that door and have to be staining it and painting it and taking care of it all the time. So we want it maintenance free. But another big thing about entry doors is security. We want a door that's going to provide security for our home. Now you think about a typical wood door or even a steel door that has the wood edges. It's normally going to have a deadbolt lock and it's going to have a handle. And it's going to go into the frame of the door. And that area where it's drilled to allow for the handle and the deadbolt is going to be the area that's the weakest area of the door. So somebody kicks it or hits it against there, they're actually driving the deadbolt and your latch through the wood frame into your house. So the door doesn't have to collapse, it just has to collapse the frame. So one of the better door makers that are out there, Provia, actually builds a security plate, a 20 gauge steel security plate actually into the frame, so that when your deadbolt goes into the frame, it's actually going to be reinforced in the frame itself. That's a substantial improvement. Okay. Another thing we want to do is make sure we don't have water and things getting up underneath the door. In this situation here, we see that it has triple sweeps and a rubber bulb seal, and it actually has a water drip edge, so that as water hits, it causes the water to drain out away from the door. That's a lot of technology when you think about it. And then to put that on top of, they don't use a wood threshold. They use a product that looks like wood, but that will not wood rot. And it has an adjustable threshold so that if you have an older house where the threshold's a little off balance, which sometimes happen, they can raise it to make sure that you have the maximum contact on the bottom so you get to maximum energy efficiency. One of the other things of a good door, probably the last thing we discussed today, is the hinges. If you have a really heavy steel door, if you have the traditional hinges, it's steel on steel. Well, over a period of time, that's what makes that door not only hard to open, but it's going to make a lot of noise. The really better doors actually have ball bearing hinges built into the hinges to make that door operate smoothly and quietly for the lifetime of that door. Well, I hope this has been helpful to you today and giving you some ideas of what makes a better door when you're looking for. And this is Greg, the window doctor, signing off.